Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the Untold Truth. Truth and nothing else. Truth is our mission. Truth is our end. Dear viewers, this is your anchor Ali Al-Mangushi and welcome to the Untold Truth, which tries to uncover the real Islamic identity and the real version of Islam. In this episode, we will talk about Islam and the falsification of Islamic terrorism. The Noble Quran is considered as Allah's blessings on the mankind as well as the guidance for the goodness of man. The main goal of Noble Quran is to organize the lives of individuals to live in peace and tranquility. Additionally, Quran is a practical constitution and not a theoretical science. The Noble Quran tries to consolidate lofty values and noble goals, but fabricators have always endeavored to the Quran by demonize the Islamic religion and attempt it to violence, hatred, and cruelty. Those fabricators describe Islam as a religion of terrorism and violence, so they always try to misinform the Western understanding of Islam by misleading them from the real and correct image of Islam. The Noble Quran is the only constitution of Muslims and their righteous book, which is based on consolidating the principle of love, peace, and respect, even with non-Muslims. So how can the Quran, after all of this, encouraging for violence or condemns and calls for, it in fact condemns and rejects the violence and call for respecting others? It is recognized that the principle of violence and terrorism is not the creation of today, but it has long history and roots. The most important questions that come to the mind of individual: why Islam is described as a religion of terrorism? Why do some try to associate terrorism with Islam? The Noble Quran is the only reference of Muslims, and all of teaching of Islamic religion are mentioned in the Noble Quran. One of the Quranic evidence that condemns violence and calls for respecting as well as the good dealing with others, even non-Muslim, Surah Al-Kafirun, verse 6, in which the Mighty says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim,
لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِيَ دِينِ.
To you be your religion and to me my religion. Another Quranic evidence is Surah Al-Ankabut, verse 46, in which Almighty says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim,
ولا تجادلوا أهل الكتاب إلا بالتي هي أحسن إلا الذين ظلموا منهم وقولوا آمنا بالذي أنزل إلينا وأنزل إليكم وإلهنا وإلهكم واحد ونحن له مسلمون.
And dispute you not with the people of the book, except with the means better, unless it be with those of them who inflict wrong, but say, we believe in the revelation which comes down to you and which comes down to us. Our Allah and your Allah is one, and to him we bow. In another context, the Noble Quran emphasizes respecting others, especially non-Muslims, and not facing them or to impress the Islam's religion on them. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
لا إكراه في الدين قد تبين الرشد من الغي فمن يكفر بالطاغوت ويؤمن بالله فقد استمسك بالعروة الوثقى.
There is no compulsion in religion. Righteousness is no distinct from error. He who disbelieves in ideal and believe in Allah has grasped the firmest tie that will never break. Allah is all the one, hearing and all knowing. One of the clear proofs against those who claim Islam and call for violence, terrorism, and extremism, the fact they are far from Islam and the lofty principle of Islam. These individuals have been sent by other people who try to distort the true image of Islam, but Almighty Allah, one refuses to be eliminated even if the disbelievers hate it. The following verse from Surah Al-Ma'idah, verses that condemns violence and call for peace. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
من قتل نفسا بغير نفس أو فساد في الأرض فكأنما قتل الناس جميعا ومن أحياها فكأنما أحيا الناس جميعا.
That whatever who kills a soul, unless for a soul, for the corruption of Ireland, it is as if he had slain all the mankind entirely. And whoever saves a one, it is as if saves all the mankind entirely. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, give us the finest example of respecting other non-Muslims, simply because the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, lived with Jews, and each of them performed their rights with peace and security prevailed among them. The hadiths of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, were not devoid of advice on respecting others and even respecting the ideas of freedoms of others. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, says, Al-Muslim man salim al-nas min lisanihi wa yadih. Muslims is the one from his hand and tongue people are safe. This hadith shows the importance of respecting others and their freedom, and those who stand in opposition to them are not considered as non-Muslims, because the most important principle of a true Islam is the people should be isolated from harm. These lofty Islamic principles are also embedded in the person of Imam Ali, peace be upon him. One day, Imam Ali, peace be upon him, while walking with his friend companions in the Al-Kufa streets, and found an old man who was sheltering people from destitution and poverty. And Imam said, with pain in his heart, "What is this?" as a sign of Imam's exclamation at what is happening or what he saw in this situation. Some of his relatives replied that this is an old Christian who grown old and he was enabled and suffocating. Imam Ali, peace be upon him, said, "You didn't do just to him. You used him when he was young, and when he was growing old and enabled, you left him." So Imam Ali, peace be upon him, ordered them to pay him a salary from the house of money. This incident, in fact, shows us that equality and respecting others are important principles, especially toward non-Muslims. The history, in fact, has witnessed many incidents that confirm respecting others' freedom and rejecting of violence. The pure Imams, peace be upon him, have many situations that show their concern in rejecting violence and exaggeration, besides following the true Islamic religion based on respecting others and their freedoms. These Quranic verses and noble hadiths show us the true and the ideal picture of Islamic religion as a religion of tolerance, love and peace. Furthermore, Islam is a religion that rejects violence, extremism in all its forms, and contrary to what is humored or adopted by some figures who falsely claim Islam. Hoping to meet you again in another renewed talk and real and never truth. To see you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.